Hello, world. Well, I wasn't sitting, I've been cleaning and doing some house chores. And usually when I do cleaning or house chores, again, I'm always kind of in this in-between state. But when I had been out earlier reading, there's been this spirit has been showing me an area of my life that needs a bit of addressing. And I talk a lot about seeing things as they really are, not how we want them to be. It comes down to that self-honesty. Now, it's not like this is like, again, a total epiphany. It's not, but you get things in stages. And I had mentioned it in one of my videos. I kind of spoken to, maybe it was the grief video, but I acknowledged that long story short, it's not even about grieving, it's about going back to the original moment of when things occurred and allowing the full expression of the feeling. And so, and in the last few years, as I've been playing out a lot of childhood trauma, in my separation from my son's mom. It's definitely an NPD. And again, things that we don't heal, they just come around and around and around. So, in part of that discovery of reevaluating and sitting with things, what I do know to be true of NPDs, or really abusive, very abusive people, very cruel, harmful, destructive people, is that in their process of dehumanizing you, humiliating you, that reactionary abuse, it's like, again, they kind of flip that shame so that when you feel sadness or grief or upset, you kind of get, at least for me, in my childhood, in order to survive, especially my stepdad, who was wicked cruel, and he really got off on seeing, well, he didn't like it if you cried or got mad, but if you did, if it was in the reactionary abuse, like poking you, because you knew you weren't allowed to, you could only be anything but happy. If you stepped out of anything other than happy, but he would poke at you to get a reaction. And then when it was, terrible, he would get off on it. And so I remember being really little and being like 5 or 6 and knowing, if I'm gonna survive this motherfucker, I'm never gonna show him. I'm never gonna break. I'm never gonna show him a single tear. It doesn't matter what he does. I will not cry. I will not cry for this fucker. And these are very important moments in our life. Those moments where we make a decision, doesn't matter how young we are, these key moments when we decide something. Now, it's not to say that I haven't had tears. I've had glimmers. But in this process of my son's mom, I realized, I was like, oh man, the thing they don't want you to be is vulnerable. They make you feel ashamed for being vulnerable. Like the very thing that defines you against what they are not is being a human, having a heart. So they make you feel terrible and embarrassed and ashamed for having feelings, for having a heart, for loving, for being vulnerable, for being authentic, for being real. And so even though cerebrally, and I've had moments of allowing myself to cerebrally grieve, like even with my son's mom, I mean, mind you, she keeps me in survival mode a lot because it's never-ending chaos. But all of these people, every single one of these people up to date, including the person who birthed me, my sister, my younger sister who I raised like my own, and with the person who birthed me and my youngest sister, these were people that, you know, I protected, I stood up for, I took a lot of the brunt. So if I'm honest with myself, what I've realized is that I'm like, that little kid in me, and I can see them. I'm tapped into them. They're literally the person who kept me alive. And they're just like, no, I do not want to cry. Because in their understanding, it's allowing these people, these really harmful people, to win. And so I'm actively trying to talk to this little 3-year-old me to be like, my guy. Yeah. So we're gonna get real in today's reading. We're gonna get into some cards about the areas of our life that we might be even aware of. Like sometimes it's subconscious. It's taken me like almost literally, I'm gonna be 44, just shy of a couple months here. Because what Spirit showed me too is, okay, so in traumatic events, it's like an explosion. So a lot of indigenous cultures, they talk about it like your soul fragments. But what I'm being shown is that the event, on specific events, it's like a piece of paper that explodes into just millions of little pieces. So that idea of like healing is like an onion, I don't actually see it as like an onion, like layers. Why there's so many literally pieces to it is because I see it as casting a line, or like they're showing me a little kid with their tongue out when it's snowing gently, very much like it is right now. All these million of little pieces. So you start your healing journey and you stand under the snowflakes and you hold out your tongue and maybe 1 or 2 pieces land. And that's enough for you to digest. Because in traumatic events, they're so terrible that you fragment it. And it's usually at really young ages that are beyond your kind of capacity to deal, right? That's why you fragment it. So you have to do it piece by piece. But now moving back to the paper, it's like you have to get these little pieces, get them all. First you have to go get them all. And then you put them in a pile, and then you have to put them together like a puzzle to make sense of it. And then tape it all together, you know, to make it whole again. And to but if, going back to being vulnerable, if I want to be as real and as authentic and as vulnerable and as in my heart space as possible, and also because all of my life really culminated this December, like the real, oh my God, just when I thought that the pinnacle couldn't have been reached in terms of terribleness and betrayals, it all ended on the person who birthed me with my sister. Like things I couldn't, like breathtaking, speechless, gobsmacking. And if I look at my patterns, the only type of people I've ever known are wildly controlling, dominating, empty. They're empty. They're simpering cowards who are empty. They're cruel. Yeah, they're like the controlling, like always under the oppressive thumb. And it's really shown up in the partners that I have picked. Sans a couple who to me are like soulmates that agreed to do this life with me because they're like, whoa, my God, like you got a heavy life, so we got to come in and give you some love. So in order for me to like move forward in my life, to have the type of authenticity and like relationships that I want, I got to go to this next area, you know? It's pretty uncomfortable because I can literally see, I can see the age of the child that I am that's like, and they're tough as shit. They're the person who got me to where I am today, and my hat goes off to them endlessly. I thank them all the time. I can literally feel the resistance. There's so much resistance to literally crying about going through each page and being like, this terrible thing deserves a real big cry because it was so terrible. Whew. Okay. Again, welcome to my channel. This is like, we're keeping it real. And if this isn't for you, that's okay. But like, I'm interested in evolving and healing and understanding things. And I believe in demonstrations. And my life is not perfect by any means, by any stretch. And people talk a lot about things, but I'm all again, everything else is just like lip service. If you're not demonstrating it, if it's not in action, like what are we doing? And anybody can get on the internet and talk about stuff, but like I wanna see it exemplified, you know? And this is the shit that I will be working with my spirit team and doing some deep work into the darkness to go there. And to go there for as long as I need. And if I'm to be honest, some parts of me are wicked excited. Some, like that little kid in me, is not excited at all. And if I ask myself who's been running the ship, that 3-year-old has been running the ship. Because you know what? They got a lot of shit done. They're the survivor part of me, you know? They're the animal in me. So let's see, good old Kimmy K is pretty good for this kind of stuff. So, you know, your story is going to be a lot different than mine. Oh yeah, I'm getting hot. You're getting sweaty. So, what areas of your life are you scared to go to look at? Or maybe you're looking at it, because again, they're cerebral. Like, man, I've been in therapy, like, because of my childhood and stuff. Like, I've had social workers and therapists. Like, I've been at this a long time, and it's all valid. But depending on the types of traumas or the things that you feel, like I have literally a million little pieces, and I've gathered millions of pieces. But like, fuck that work, Jesus, you know. So let's get a couple cards on the areas that, for the collective, might feel a little bit nervy. You know, like this face, like I don't want to at all. And then let's get some cards on how you, and maybe even myself, like I feel like I kind of have this one area where I'm like, but I'm always open to spirit talking to me through the collective. Not always, like sometimes I'm like, but man, if there's some juicy gems, I always take it, where I'm like, I take notes. Okay. Oh, you know what though? We need a little smoke because we're getting into some territories, you know? And progress, not perfection, because to be honest, the first emotion that I was never really good with was anger. Ooh, man, because we weren't allowed to be angry in our household. Like I said, there's a lot of abuse and a lot of reactionary abuse, so I just stuffed it. I stuffed it, and I was afraid of my anger because I really thought that I was just going to explode and kill everybody. But inverted anger leads to depression, and I was really suicidal most of my life because I didn't allow myself to express the anger. And anger is the emotion that sits above grief because it's the protector. So I've gotten really good at anger, I'm like, bless up. But now, the last part, I feel like this journey, because yeah, it was like dealing with depression. What's underneath depression? Oh, anger. Oh, what's underneath all this rage and fury? A lot of grief. So, you know, let's just be honest about it. And to be honest, like I said, I did not come this far to just fucking like I'm a go big or go home kind of guy. I want the best of the best. I want to demonstrate to my son everything of what is possible, even if it's terrible. That no matter what, you just keep doing it and you come correct and you do the work. And that anything done through honesty, integrity, love, and light, that there's nothing that can't be accomplished. And so if I want to demonstrate that, I gotta fucking be it and I gotta do it. And I also would love, you know, like, Spirit keeps showing me that there is a divine counterpart for me. Now, whether there is or not actually doesn't matter because I am whole and complete in who I am. I don't need to be with anyone, which is amazing. It took me 44 years to get here. But I do trust when Spirit tells me that things are coming, and sometimes I can even be resistant where I'm like, I don't want it. But really, if I am honest, I'm like, no. The thing I've always wanted in my whole life was like a happy home, a happy family. So if I want to bring in my divine counterpart, who is not my mother, and all of my terrible father figures, all narcissists, all just terrible human beings. Yeah, I feel like this grieving part is like the last part. And like the grief around the person who birthed me, oh, I'm so resistant. I am so resistant. There's so much resistance, if I'm just to be honest. 8 million tons of resistance, like mountains like the Himalayas times 10 of resistance. Because there's something about this little kid that's like, I don't want them to know how much they've impacted me. I would rather just be cold as ice. But me being cold as ice means that I don't get to let anything in. And I don't want that, right? Okay. Yeah, this message isn't gonna be for everyone, I can tell. That's okay. I do this for me. And if someone tags along, hallelujah. God bless. Thank you for this day. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my clarity. Thank you for the collective. Thank you, water. Thank you for my son. I ask that the collective and everyone that they love be kept safe, protected, loved, healed, and empowered to have the courage and the strength to heal whatever it is that they need to heal today. All right. Thanks, water. Okay. So, spirits, what are 3 cards of things that the collective are afraid to heal, or things that need healing? You know the area of, oh, there's 3 right here. Wow, they all came out together. Ooh, we got the mask, the shapeshifter, and the kiss. This came out in the last one around fears, so it's very interesting. Now, yeah, it's true, like, they were together, but I did shuffle, and I do trust that, like, I thought I was pulling out one, and all 3 came out. So I'm gonna trust Spirit on this one, and these are pretty appropriate for areas that need healing. Okay. La Mask. 187. Okay, let's close the window now. Okay. The persona, the performance, the reveal. We often think of a mask as something that conceals our identity, yet contemplate the possibility that the mask permits our true identity to be revealed. It allows. The mask gives voice to that which was previously rejected. When this card appears, enact the side of you that is seeking expression. Oh, I'm in this pile. This is totally advice for me too. This is 100%. I'm gonna have to sit with this and meditate afterwards with it, and this is great. The mask, oh yeah. When this card appears, enact the side of you that is seeking expression, yet was never given a role to play on the stage of life. You are in the realm of theater, so anything is possible. Speak with the other's voice, embody the other's limbs. You are taking part in the ritual of expanding the self. There may be mischief and deception around, and others may be trying on new masks too. No one is sure who is who. It's likely you've become so attached to a single mask that you need to fall face forward into this perception-bending time. Trust it. When light reveals what has been suppressed. When dark further conceals what is rejected. Think of a mask or costume you wore that felt empowering, marvelous, or fun. Who was it you were being? Is that who still within you? As the Zen koan suggests, meditate on your original face, the one you had before your mother and father were born. Yeah. Okay, shapeshifter. The trickster, the elusive, the formless. The shapeshifter has a love of theater. See, theater keeps coming up. Games and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. The shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is a side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. We need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence. When the shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focused lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagined. Be wary though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. When light, vibrant, adaptive, humorous. When dark, charlatan, people-pleasing, trickery. The shapeshifter is related to the mask. Yeah, they both came out. Notice if these cards come up together in one reading. If so, you are in the realm of heavy theater, illusion, and possible deception. The ultimate shapeshifter works undercover in service of the greater good. The diminished shapeshifter becomes a people pleaser. Okay, lastly, the kiss. Hold on, I need a sip of coffee. The touch, the chemistry, the sex. Before a first kiss, the air is electrified. Each breath is alive with possibility and magic. What will their lips be like? Their tongue? Do they want me in return? The archetypal energy of the kiss is a heightened sensation of merging with other, of letting in what was moments ago separate to become one. It is risky, but beautiful business. These moments forever change us, and we move past the solitary self toward union and acceptance. This card suggests true intimacy is around the corner, which requires bravery and surrender. When the kiss takes a non-human form, it may be experienced as touching the sacred, hearing a whisper, or being graced by a divine being. You will recognize the presence of the kiss by cold chills and an awakening of the heart. When light, sensual expressiveness, merging, inviting. When dark, neediness, pressure, dominance, disrespect. Oh yeah, and then they are, sometimes they go deeper and they reference a piece of artwork. Most of the time I'm like, ugh. But this one I've actually seen. I saw it in New York in a retrospective of Andy Warhol's. And I don't love Andy Warhol, but I would recommend the 1963 film called Kiss. Intimacy is multi-layered and requires a reflection. Revisit what you consider to be sensual, taboo, acceptable, and shameful. Write down the story of your first kiss. What was changed in that moment? Oh yeah, this is what I mean. Like for me, it's speaking to a lot about intimacy, vulnerability, authenticity. But with any of the aspects of ourself, right? It really is, this is meant to elicit a conversation within you, to be like, in what areas, again, that honesty, where is the self-deception? And sometimes we really don't know. We don't know that we're deceiving ourselves, that we're enacting, going back to this theater. We have on one mask. Sometimes it's about being like, what mask am I wearing? How many masks can I wear? Like, what's in the tickle trunk? And exploring that. And just seeing, where's there resistance? Like, what feelings, again, knowing the emotional barometer, where feels yucky? And if you don't know within yourself, what types of expression, emotional expression in other people make you feel uncomfortable? How do you feel when other people cry around you? How do you feel when other people express anger or grief or unabashed joy? How do you feel about seeing sensuality? Cards. Oh yeah, I wanted to pull, okay, so 3 more. Advice on how to. Okay, so let's get some advice on how can we heal these things. We'll pick 3 cards. What are some inspirational or like ideas around how to get playful with this? Again, healing, even albeit intense. Wow, this one. Ooh, we have the Storm. The Eternal Child. I love it already. Okay, hold on. Poet. And then the last card is going to be the Gem as the overall theme. You know what? We're going to take 2. I was feeling 1 as above, so below. Okay. So these are the 2 overall themes for the end to hold. And we have the womb, aka the mother womb. Wound. Mother womb, mother wound. Okay. All right, so Storm, here's Storm. Sorry guys, I forgot to show you the cards. There's Storm, here's Eternal Child, here's the Poet, and the original cards. The Mask, the Shapeshifter, and the Kiss. And also, the Kiss, this is pointillism. Thousands of little dots. A million little pieces. All of our fragmented self. And I kind of feel like that's what we are as energy. We're just these like little filaments of light. And then parts of us get blasted out into even more little pieces. But like, yeah. I feel like intimacy is all these like little little points of light. And how much of these points of light, these filaments of light, are you willing to share? You know? The storm. Okay, Stormy Storm, where are you? 157. Wow, my nose is really itchy today. Okay, so this is guidance on how we can heal these things. The storm, the chaos, the whirlwind, the disorder. Possessing an energy much like the tarot's Tower card, the storm undoes all that is. Everything that was solid, known, and relied upon is stripped away by the winds of fate. The ground becomes the sky becomes the center, and then the center disappears. The storm is a great equalizer, no matter how far we've come on the path, no matter our age, wealth, or wisdom. We can't hide from its savage winds. Their disturbing howls stir anxiety and make it impossible to see and think straight. You must wait it out. If you try to fight the storm, you will lose. A better option is to seek temporary shelter and a reliable friend. When all else fails, go within. Oh, God. Yeah, there's a real tickle. Someone's tickling my nose. What the fuck? Okay. There for a moment, you settle into the eye of the storm. The storm lays bare the truth that there are forces larger than you. This understanding is a relief, but also a predicament of power that requires your surrender. The storm's intention is to rebalance your equilibrium. It is a result of precarious conditions, not the cause of them. When light, meaningful obliteration and annihilation. When dark, meaningless disorder and dysfunction. And even within the storm, again, it's like they look like these snowflakes, and you see a little hand right here. All these little pieces of self, and a hand reaching out for help, being like, holy fuck. I see an eye. Yeah, there's like these two disjointed eyes. There's like this eye, but it's upside down. It's been like ripped. Yeah, it's been, holy shit. It's been ripped. But I'm also seeing again, like, lean into, harness the storm. Like, allow the tower. Like, shake it up. Like, to be honest, like, this is the energy I'm gonna go in with tonight. Like, really, like, lean in. Like, let's, you know, like, let's unearth it. Like, let's just fucking go deep. There's so much itchiness around my face right now. It's incredible. The Eternal Child. But I do like the sitting, again, going within to self. Because these feelings do feel like a storm, right? Like when we're looking at our shadowy side, or the things that feel really icky. But here's the thing. Feelings are valid, but feelings aren't fact. And I've said this in other videos. Feelings may feel truly as though you're either gonna die or go psychotic. They really do. I've been taken to the brink. And doctors are right. Like, you will not die. You won't die of it. You just have to learn how to sit through it. And I find that when you talk to it, It's in the resistance that actually makes it more painful, because you're resisting it. You don't want to deal with it. It's too much. So you're completely shutting it down. Whereas if you actually just picture it as a person who's trying to get your attention, it wants a voice. Everything wants to be seen and heard in this existence. Everything. So, and just like when I work with children, or like with my son, to be gentle about it, to be like, okay, like, what do you want? Express it. Let it all out. Let it all out. We have a couple ground rules, like you can't hurt yourself, you can't hurt people, but you can like let it out. You have a platform. And I'm gonna hold space for it. And usually when you're soft and gentle about it, and you're not judgmental, there's no reaction to it, the thing will kind of calm down to be like, oh, you're not fighting me. You're listening. And you're really being soft and kind about it. And you're asking me questions about it. You know? Again, I've said this in another video. This looks exactly like my son's hands. But to be honest, I've also pulled out pictures of me when I'm 3, and I have the exact same hands. It's all those little kitties. I know, it sounds so irritatingly trope. All the therapists, your inner child, blah, blah, blah. But like, it really is a lot easier for me as a parent to picture, to see myself realistically as a tiny child and to be like, oh, and to feel the weightiness of it, to be like, oh my God, children should not have to endure the things that they do. And so if I think about it from that perspective, it makes it a lot easier to hold space. And every single one of us, including the shitty, terrible human beings that do terrible things to us, they all have a broken inner child, don't they? The only difference being they didn't do the work. Eternal child, 69. The inner child, the child of joy. The eternal child is connected to the timeless, ageless, and infinite aspects of life. It is radiant and fearless and seeks joy above all else and at any cost. It struggles being bound to an aging body with physical limitations in a world that demands attention to detail and logistics. The eternal child wants to nix all rules and responsibilities and go beyond what others say is possible. It wants to return with plenty of friends to the land of the free, where divine wine and creativity pour from the earth and sky. We all want to sip from the well of eternal youth, and this makes the eternal child naturally popular, perhaps even famous. The eternal child glimmers. It reminds us of what is possible, what is magical about this precious life. Celebrity culture is based heavily on this archetype, as is the phrase, live hard, die young, and the series of artists and musicians who died at 27. The archetype is so spirited that when its appetite for life isn't satiated, it seeks spirits and substance elsewhere. The eternal child struggles with addictions of all varieties. When light, joyful, playful, accepts all, magic. When dark, addicted, selfish, adrift, burns out. Addiction has come up a little bit in my readings, and I've said it, like, I choose to not be clouded by anything right now. And you don't have to be a quote-unquote addict, but looking at in the ways, just getting honest, how do we self-comfort? How do we self-soothe? And we're all doing it right now, and we all have these like beautiful devices that are meant to keep us distracted. And so we all do it to some degree. And most of us, to some degree, are pretty unhappy in our lives. So when you remove distractions, it really allows you to start taking stock and to also see in the ways that we're not regulating. Because it's really easy to self-regulate by being like, oh, uncomfortable feeling, something I don't want to deal with. Oh, gonna go onto Instagram. Oh, an uncomfortable feeling, I'm gonna go binge eat something. Or I'm gonna go work out for 8 hours. It can be under the guise of healthiness, you know? But it's in that extreme. So when you take the time, going back to storm, to sitting in the storm, no distractions, facing all your fears, all the uncomfortable things, just you and your naked bare ass, you know, in a storm, with no one coming to save you, other than your spirit team. That's like all you got. And sometimes they're reticent, you know? And some things keep you alive for a bit. Substance disorder is, again, it's like people, it makes sense. When you experience terrible things, being a human, like, we're so adaptive. We want to survive at all costs. And also, joy. Like, we want to feel good. And if all you ever known is terribleness, and you just want to survive and cope, I totally get why people use. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand it. But as I said in another video, there's a point where these things, these coping strategies, because that's what they are, they're coping strategies, they stop working. So at some point, that's your cue to be like, oh, they were just coping strategies. It means that I actually have to go, like, instead of just coping, if I go back and look at stuff and heal stuff and learn how to, like, regulate and know my emotions so that they also don't sneak up on me. And if I can learn how to be honest with myself, again, there's no sneaking up, there's no surprises, because you're just willing to look into the void and to be like, that's mine, oh, that's dark, that's really icky. You know, like, that's really sad. You know what I mean? Okay, the poet. The artist, the witness, the truth teller. The poet's work is to feel immensely and not be afraid. They must seek out truth in the darkest corners of the world and carry it back for all to see. This unique capacity resides within us all, regardless of our relationship to creativity. When the poet energy is present, there is a call for deep honesty and reflection, for seeing the big picture within the little one. The poet rides effortlessly between the personal and universal. It's possible that others may not seem to listen or care about the poet's work, but do not be discouraged. The words of the poet ring true for centuries to come, soothing the wounds of despair and violence that captivate our world. The poet's work is never finished. Find your voice and trust that the wind will carry it. Beautiful. You see? When light, clairvoyant, wise, timeless. When dark, harmful words, sharp tongue, thwarted creativity. The poet is related to the shaman and the bridge. These archetypes hover in the meeting place between the everyday and the sacred. It's likely there is a poem or poet that was meaningful to you at a young age. Revisit and reread it now. Be open to its message. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Bukowski, Charles Bukowski, the writer, but he had a poem called either Bluebird. If you just put in Charles Bukowski poem Bluebird, even if I get the title, but it's about a bluebird in his heart. It's really sad, but that was one I really related to when I was younger. Okay, so let's go to the womb and the gem, and then we'll wrap that up so that we can all go do a little bit of crying and healing. Oh. Old womby womb. Where are you, womb? There you are. Wait. Where are you? Okay, vow. No. There you are. 155. Okay. The womb. The nest, the belly, the origin. Everything has an origin story. The womb archetype asks us to contemplate the beginning beyond the beginning, the mother beyond the mother. And we saw that with the mask, didn't we? Yeah, like what was your face before your parents' faces? In a world that often negates the power and necessity of feminine principles, this card returns us to the warmth, tenderness, and sacred intelligence from which we came. It is a card of receiving, not achieving, of accepting love from the mother of us all. She is the life-giving force that forgives and cherishes even the most wounded and desperate soul. No matter how lost you are, the womb awaits your return to help you heal and grow. This card is a call to keep things simple, to return, to be reborn in the name of love. The womb is everywhere. It is beyond gender, beyond time. We are within it as it is within us. When light, nourishment, harmony, warmth, love. When dark, stricken, ecological crisis, infertility, imbalance. What would honoring the feminine look like to you? Where would you begin? Imagine yourself as loved. Imagining yourself as loved is a good place to start. Consider that Mother Earth must also have a mother. Imagine her. Oh, I love that. Because I've never actually pulled that card. I've never read that. Beautiful. Oh, I can tell you right now, I'll be fucking crying like a moose dry heaving through the forest tonight. I can assure you. I will be going deep, and these are all very poignant, salient, excruciating points. 177. The gem. The diamond, the gold, the inner treasure. There are infinite names for the gem. It is also known as the jewel, the star, the talent, the gift, the gold. One thing for certain is that it is found deep within a substance that is very much unlike it. For example, a diamond in the rough. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You can't find it when you are among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slowly deep in the earth, amid pressure and darkness. Discovering the gem requires The gem requires a descent beneath the surface, where there is no definitive map. Yet the longing to touch the true gem within us is so strong that we cannot help but seek out its radiance. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, Cinnamon. I'm going to post this. I'll be getting into a spiritual bath, and then I will be going deep and definitely shedding some tears. I don't know about you. I find this incredibly moving and very, apropos very much to what I have been talking about. In mythology, the diamond is often linked to the daemon, or inner light, that leads us towards our true self, our purpose, our destiny. The moments of your life that glimmer are clues to where the gem resides. Don't covet the sparkling diamond of another. The gem is like a fingerprint, never to be repeated again. Find yours. When light, unique, shining, generative, irreplaceable. When dark, envy, greed, grasping. Well, my dears, that concludes that. I hope that was useful or slightly inspiring. And I trust that, again, for those of you not ready to and aren't interested, yeah, you'll click off and you'll be on your merry way. And to those that are interested, you know, I'm excited to what you unearth and where you go with that. Yeah, as much as I'm resistant, there's just parts of me that are resistant. It's not the whole. I am excited. Because if I look, again, to like what I want all the good shit. And I can't get to all the good shit if I don't go through the hard shit. That's it. Well, good luck out there. Yeah. Stay blessed. Stay golden.